Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
How are you, Harvey?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad.
Good, good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
If I don't get COVID, I'll be in great shape. I got exposed, so
Oh no.
yeah.
I've had COVID once. That was enough, and then I got a bug, and then it all downhill since. But yeah.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Mark and I don't even know where we were exposed.
Yeah, that was
But-
with me too in early 2020,
Yeah.
before the vaccines. Who knows where we got? We were being very careful.
I know where I got it. I got it from my apartment manager.
Nice.
Yeah, he came into my apartment and did something, and then the next day, a couple days later, he said, "Oh, I've got COVID," and then I had COVID. Yeah.
Looks
And
like we're
horrible.
about ready to start here.
All right. Looks like we're going.
Looks like more people on Zoom than in the synagogue.
Yeah.
I'm muting. Okay, so. Okay, no. Can you hear us through there? Yes? Jory? Yes, good, okay.
Why don't we all join together in a nice little yai-lai, yeah? Can you? Yai-lai, dai, 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 dai. Yai-lai, dai, 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 dai. Yai-lai, lai, 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 dai, dai, dai. Yai-lai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai-lai, lai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, lai, dai, dai, dai. Yai-lai, lai, dai, dai. The words are Hine Matov Umanaim. How wonderful it is for us to join together in this space. Hine Matov Umanaim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanaim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim. 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 Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Hine Matov. Yalarai, yalarararararai. Hine Matov, Hine Matov. Yalarararararai. Hine Matov Umanayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good to have everybody here. I just want to let you know about the exits, just in case, because this keeps happening. There's a door here, a door there. You can go out that way. You can come here backstage to the secret entrance to my office. There's a door that leads out to Central. And of course, you know, there's a lobby and the kitchen and all of that. So there are ways to get out of here if you need to. And apparently throwing a chair at the person is the way to deal with it. So I better build up my muscles. We're very, very pleased tonight to have Raymond Zachary return. I think all of you have seen him at some point. He's been here a few times. He led the music for Passover, and he's a soloist who also does musical theater. He just completed a run of Sound of Music down in Orange County, playing a nun. And
They let me out of the convent to come here. It's great.
yes, he's a multiple religious, interpreter. So we're very happy to have him here tonight. And we're going to continue with Lechune Ranina page. Now, if you have a fat book, I'll give you the page number first. If you have a thin book, that's the second page number. For some reason, they created two kinds of prayer books. Very annoying. Okay, so page 130 and 12.
So it's always customary to start Shabbat with Zmirus and with Tehillim, with Psalms of happiness and joy. So I want lots of clapping and yai-lai-lying. Even if you don't know the words, you'll pick up the chorus right away as we join together. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, nekad mafanav betodah. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu. Bizmiru tarim alo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol el kol Elohim. Asher beyado mechrei aretz v'tofot harim lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Asher lo hayam vehu asahu ve'abeshet yadav yitzhavnu. Bo nishtachave v'nikraa livrecha livnei Adonai Yosei. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Ki hu Eloheinu va'anachnu am naritom yatzom yado. Hayomim bekolo tishema'u, tishema'u. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu lechu leranel Adonai.
Lynn Yarmoff is going to light the candles for us for Shabbat. The prayer is on page 120 and 2.
Okay. Oh, which page? Oh, 2. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshenu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlek ner shel Shabbat.
Kiddush is page 123 and 5.
ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
L'chaim.
Yummy.
I knew it was grape juice this time, I remembered. I was expecting Manischewitz, but no. This is good.
So this week's Torah portion, Behar, presents a radical concept for a just society. The Jubilee year, whereby the land is returned to its original owner every 50 years. As the Eitz Chaim commentary explains, this prevents the polarization of society into two classes, wealthy, powerful landowners on the one hand, and permanently impoverished people on the other. In an agrarian society, a farmer who sold all the land to pay debts had no prospect of ever being anything more than a servant, nor would a servant's sons ever rise above that level. Anticipating the human misery and social instability this would lead to, the Torah provides a plan, and the plan is the Jubilee year. Perhaps we might adopt a version of this concept in our own society, where the gap between the rich and the poor has grown significantly over the past few decades. We continue with L'chadodi. We welcome the Sabbath bride. On the last verse, we stand up and look towards the door to welcome her in. Page 138 and 20.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, ישמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ונתילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
And we continue with the Hatzi Kaddish, page 263 and 145.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן הקריב, ומרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ומרו אמן.
And we rise for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship, page 264 and 146.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד, המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. So in our Torah portion, we have another kind of Shabbat. Since we rest on every seventh day, we also observe something called the Shemitah year, which is every 7 years, we let the land lie fallow. And this is a poem by Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt called Caretaker. 6 days you may visit to pick sugar snap peas, to burnish your fingers with basil and dill, to strip string beans from their leggy bushes and choose radishes to stash in your bag. But on the 7th, let the land rest. The chattering chickens and drowsy sunflowers, the garlic hanging fragrant in the rafters, even the earthworms ineffable underground. Ahavat Olam is page 266 and 148.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורת ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגי יומם ולילה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
We rise for the Shema on the next page.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam.
You may be seated except for Carol Lee, who is going to come up and lead us in the Ve'ahavta, page 268 and 150.
Tallness is wonderful. Everybody, please chant with me. Whoops, wrong page. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vlechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha Ukshartam leot hayadecha vehayu letotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha laman tiskaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Oh, good. Thank you. Yep.
So speaking about the Jubilee year, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs points out that our Torah portion sets out a revolutionary template for a society of justice, freedom, and human dignity. At its core is the idea of a Jubilee whose words proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof are engraved on one of the great symbols of freedom, the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. One of its provisions is the release of slaves. So quoting God's words, if your brother becomes impoverished and is sold to you, do not work him like a slave. He shall be with you like an employee or a resident. He shall serve you only until the Jubilee year, and then he and his children shall be free. They'll be free to leave and to return to their family and to the hereditary land of their ancestors. For they are my servants, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as slaves. Of course, Rabbi Sachs points out the contradiction between the Torah's vision of justice and the fact that there are still slaves in that society, albeit a gentler, kinder form of slavery. Now, why did the Torah allow a fundamentally flawed institution to continue? Sachs cites Moses Maimonides in the Guide for the Perplexed. He explains the need for time in social transformation. All processes in nature, he argued, are gradual. The fetus develops slowly in the womb. Stage by stage, a child becomes mature. And what applies to individuals applies to nations and civilizations. Accordingly, God did not ask of the Israelites that they suddenly abandon everything they had become used to in Egypt. And I thought the whole point of remembering our enslavement in Egypt was to fight against others becoming slaves. But apparently that had to take a few more 100 years. The Michamocha, when we were liberated from our own slavery, is page 270 and 152.
Strummy. So for those of us who were here for Pesach know where this is going, but for the rest of you, what I'd like you to do is put your prayer books down for me and stand on up. We danced on the shores of Freedom Sea, and let's try and recreate that tonight, shall we? You all know this, it's not a big surprise, but see if you can catch along with where I'm going with this one. Can you help me out? Here we go. Grab on. Hop on, everyone. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar v'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. All right, if you're not dancing, you better be clapping. Let me hear you. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar v'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha, malchutecha, ra'u banecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze eli anu ve'amru, ze eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yalai, 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 we're free. Whew, well, that's my cardio for this week. Thanks, everybody.
This is called Testament of Freedom by Ruth Bryn on Leviticus 25. The people of America read about the sabbatical year and the year of the Jubilee as a testament of freedom. In the beginning, they engraved the words of Leviticus on the Liberty Bell, proclaim liberty throughout the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. Generations later, the slaves, in hopes of their freedom, sang the year of the Jubilee, and go down Moses. You made us to be free. You set the spark in every human heart. Now help us fan the spark to flame to light our way. Now help us break the chains, tear down the walls. Help us bring freedom at last to all the world. Hashkivenu, the bedtime prayer that made it into the Siddur, is page 271 and 153.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzitenu, uvoenu, lechaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzitenu, uvoenu, lechaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim.
Please rise to the tefillah, which begins on page 270, 273, and 155.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei Avot ve'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please continue silently to page 285 or 167, and please be seated when you need to or when you're done. Page 285 and 167. Now take a moment to think of those in need of healing, whether of body, of mind, or of spirit. We think of those who suffered from shootings in Buffalo, New York, and Orange County here. And congregants and friends and family of congregants, Jonathan Davidson, Ben Henderson, Kara Gilman, Rabbi Steve Robbins, Gloria Mangus, Leslie Ferris, Pamela Mangus, Johnny Sikat, Larry Miller, Martha Miller, Judy Richmond, Fernando Guerrero, Margie Aiken, Gary Droutman, Eileen Pritchard, Ann Craven, Marvin Young, Hava Bat Avraham Visara. Would anybody like to add a name?
Esther Fagel Basmashi.
Diana Anderson.
On Zoom, let's see. Sandra and Jess Landis, Ron Jones and Ron Brazil, Robin Kurland, Therese Spellman, Eleanor Gailey, Ruth Barrett, Amy Morton, Portia Becker, Judy Gordon, and please join us in the Misha Berach, the prayer for healing, which can be found, page 3, I think it's 380 or something. Like
253 or 371.
371 or 253. There you go. Thank you.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
So I spoke earlier about the mitzvah in our Torah portion of the Jubilee, whereby the land reverts to its original owner every 50 years. Now I'd like to focus on another mitzvah in our Torah portion that I mentioned very briefly, which is the Shemitah, the commandment to let our land lie fallow every 7 years. It's kind of a Shabbat for the land. Now, I'm not a farmer, but I think farmers will tell you that it's good for the land to be given a break periodically. But is that all there is to the Shemitah? Several commentators have noted that the Torah tells us that this mitzvah was given on Mount Sinai. Well, weren't all mitzvot given on Mount Sinai? Rabbi David Seidenberg suggests that the emphasis on Sinai hints that the Shemitah year is the culmination and purpose of the Sinai covenant. Why? Shemitah actually encapsulates several important Jewish values. To quote Moshe Taragin of the Jerusalem Post, it qualifies our ownership of the land while moderating our response to financial successes. Returning the land back to the Creator prevents the arrogance that typically follows economic success. A full year of work stoppage underscores that human wealth is divinely allocated and therefore transitory. Furthermore, Shemitah reorders socioeconomic hierarchies. Lands are left barren, and produce is equally and readily available to both rich and poor. The related laws of Shemitah, kisafim, or the annulment of loans, in theory, are meant to dissolve all debt, effectively resetting financial imbalances. Every society struggles with wealth inequality and its social repercussions. The rich accumulate more wealth as the poor sink into greater debt, eroding social unity and destabilizing economies. At our particular stage of history, wealth disparities are particularly exaggerated, as 1% of the world's richest possess twice as much wealth as 6.9 billion people. By resetting financial parity, Shemitah rebuilds a more egalitarian and classless social fabric. Finally, Shemitah serves as a spiritual and personal retreat from the hustle bustle of society and the pressures of our daily routine. Functionally similar to Shabbat, it provides a year-long leave of absence, enabling spiritual, personal, and communal rebooting. Just imagine a society that would follow these values. Shemitah, giving the land a break, would compel us to think about these values. The land is not ours. It's on loan to us from God. Thus, it is incumbent upon us to treat it well. No one would be allowed to accumulate extraordinary wealth, thus allowing for more people to have the basics of life: food, shelter, housing, and work. Presumably, we would not see horrible numbers of unhoused people sleeping on freeway overpasses or riverbeds, while others close by live in multi-million-dollar mansions. We would ensure that the poor are cared for. And we would take some time away from life's merry-go-round to renew ourselves spiritually, something so many of us cannot find the time to do. And that very well might lead to gratitude for our blessings. In fact, the midah, the Jewish moral virtue we're supposed to be cultivating this coming week during the counting of the Omer, is hod, gratitude. Observing this Shemitah can help us develop gratitude. To put it in the words of Aaron Smokler, giving the land a rest every 7 years, desisting from intervening in its course, is perhaps an exercise in quiet observation and deep appreciation. We watch the universe unfold, and what we discover are the ways in which the natural world is itself so very enchanted, so very mysterious. We experience gratitude for this amazing gift. As the Sfat Emet, a Hasidic commentator, paraphrased by Smokler, tells us, the natural order of the world is a miracle, that the sun rises and sets, that trees blossom and lay dormant, that waters flow, that babies grow, that plants sprout. These most natural events, when fully appreciated, are anything but humdrum. They are teeming with life, beauty, mystery, and are occasions for awe and profound wonder. To quote the much quoted William Blake, to see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. It is our failure when we cannot behold the divine in a bloom, and no less so in the loaf of bread. We need not seek miracles when we can see them before our very eyes. I used to wonder why prayer is primarily a praise of God. Does God really need us to tell God how wonderful God is? But I've realized that prayer is for us. It's a way for us to practice gratitude, because gratitude has immense benefits, both for our mental and our physical health. A study done at UC Berkeley affirms that gratitude unshackles us from toxic emotions, and that gratitude has lasting effects on the brain. Forbes magazine, believe it or not, lists these 7 benefits for gratitude. Gratitude opens the door to more relationships. Gratitude improves physical health. Gratitude improves psychological health. Gratitude enhances empathy and reduces aggression. Grateful people sleep better. Gratitude improves self-esteem, and gratitude increases mental strength. And we don't even need to wait to the Shemitah year or the week of Hod during the Omer to practice gratitude. We can come to services, as you all have, and pray. We can observe Shabbat. We can write down 3 things every day that we're grateful for. So as we enter the next week, the week of Hod, the week of gratitude, let's try to go into the week with a way of counting all our blessings. And now we're going to actually count the Omer. as you probably know, the Omer was a measure of barley that we brought to the temple between the second day of Passover and Shavuot. Shavuot is when we receive the Torah. And since we don't go to the temple anymore with any offerings, because there's no temple, the mystics of our tradition decided to use the counting as we went from leaving slavery to receiving the Torah as a way to enhance our various moral virtues. And each week there's a different one that we focus on. So if you go to page 570 and 278, you will find the blessing for counting the Omer.
הנני מוכן ומזומן לקיים את מצוות עשה של ספירת העומר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על ספירת העומר. Which day is it? I'm lost.
Oh,
Hayom. Hayom Shloshim Barba. Okay. Today is the 35th day, which makes 3 weeks and 5 days of the Omer.
would you like to tell us about the bagels and lox brunch?
You don't really have to ask twice. Okay, everybody. This weekend, everybody come. And if you haven't gotten the tickets online yet, it's okay. You can pay at the door. We're here for you. We have a lot of people coming. We're going to be serving our wonderful usual brunch. And a lot of people here are working at it and eating at it. So please come. It's at 10:30 on Sunday, 10:30 to 1. Okay. Oh my God, I have nothing else to say.
How is that even possible? So I also wanted to let you know, there was an email that went out, another one hopefully will come out also, that in the summer, July and August, we're going to try doing services at 7 rather than 6:30, just experimenting with different times. And we will continue to have onegs, but the onegs in the summer will be potluck, because Wendy has been gracious enough to take on the whole responsibility for onegs during the year. We're very grateful for that, but we want to give her a little bit of a break in the summer. She will set stuff up and clean up, but she's not going to go buy the food. So, and then they're going to have a theme every week. So I don't remember what the first one is. Your favorite cookies? Yeah, your favorite cookies. I don't think ice cream would be such a good idea in the summer, you know, but anyway, so that's what we're going to do in the summer, because we do want to encourage all you people out on Zoom to come into the building, right? I think we have more people still on Zoom than we have in here, but it's, yeah, it's close, but they won. So aside from thanking Wendy, I'd like to thank Jory and Christine for running the tech, and Jory for playing, and of course, Raymond for your beautiful music. And I want to thank Steve Chick for being our security person. Unfortunately, that's what we have to do these days, is worry about security. It used to be that you could go worship somewhere and not have to worry about it, but here we are in the 21st century. Who would like to share some good news? Oh my God.
I'll stand up. All right. Well, a little bit on this subject. Joshua was here last weekend at the Rain Cross Chorale, and the Rain Cross Chorale sings at Calvary Presbyterian Church. They've been doing it for years, and Morris was there. We weren't in it this time, but you were there. Oh, you can. Josh's video is on YouTube? Is that what it? Oh, that's wonderful. Well, anyway, my grandson Joshua sang there on Sunday. And it was really, really, really good. Pardon? I'm sorry? Okay. Oh, was he good? Oh, he was fabulous.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce you to Benjamin. How do you pronounce your last name? Murray? Maury. Okay. Benjamin was in my intro to Judaism class a couple of years ago. It was all on Zoom. So this is the first time I've actually seen him in the flesh. Nice to finally meet you. And please welcome him when we have our own eggs. You're welcome to join us and have some dessert or something like that. He's, did you graduate yet? Ah, Mazel Tov. That's good news. He just graduated from Cal Baptist. And what are you going to do next?
Well, I've been doing a bunch of comedy editing stuff. Oh, yeah. I've been doing a bunch of comedy editing for stand-up comedians online. So that's what I'm working on right now. Yeah.
I think we found someone to write the Purim spiel.
Yeah. So, you know, we've got people who are coming into our tribe little by little, which is really nice. I have a Beit Din on Sunday, actually, with somebody who's been studying for a couple of years. So that's wonderful. Anyone else want to share anything?
Hi, probably some of you know, some of you don't, but Noah, our grandson, he was involved with mock trial, and he was the prosecuting attorney in mock trial. And of the 23 schools, they choose one prosecuting attorney and one defense attorney to, they get a gold medal or whatever, but they get a scholarship, if you will. They get an internship with the prosecutor gets an internship with the district attorney's office during the summer, and the defense attorney gets an internship with the public defender's office during the summer. So Noah was fortunate to be able to win the prosecuting attorney and get the internship with the district attorney's office. And he also went to Sacramento last weekend or a couple weekends ago he was in he and another student won the area to go to the state for a history competition. So they made it to the state to do that. That's it.
Hey, Mazel Tov. That's excellent. See, grandchildren. I know Barbara and Gary's grandson conducted a orchestra a couple of weeks ago, right? Okay, wonderful. Yeah, oh, Rosemary.
I guess I better take this. My son owns cable car wine tours in Temecula, where he got the original cable cars from San Francisco. And so he put one of the cable cars inside the Black Market Brewery, and it's called Off the Rails. And the Chamber of Commerce came this week, and he cut ribbon for a successful opening of a business in Temecula. So I think that's exciting.
Wonderful. By the way, this is Rosemary Young. Some of you may not have met her because we were on Zoom for 2 years and whatever, but good to have you in the flesh also. Could I ask the two Goldware brothers to open the ark for the Aleinu? Okay, we rise, and the Aleinu is on the inside cover of your prayer book. Just for Raymond's benefit, and for people who don't know, their parents were founding members of this synagogue. In fact, as they open up the ark, there is a scroll of Esther up in there, which was given by the family, and also the eternal light up above the ark. So good to have you here today.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל עמונם. העולם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כה כתוב בתורתו, ודעת היום והשיבת אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
By the way, that beautiful talit that you see inside the ark was made by one of our religious school classes under the auspices of our wonderful art teacher, Gail. So we're very lucky. And by the way, if you have a minute, you should go into the social hall and take a look at the different panels that were done by the different, we have only 3 classes at this point of our religious school, but each class did a different art project and they're really nice. So I encourage you to do that. We take a moment to think of those who are no longer with us. May their memories be for a blessing. I do want to mention the people who were killed in the Buffalo attack. Robert A. Drury, who was 32 and buying groceries at the top supermarket to make dinner. Margus D. Morrison, 52, a school bus aide who loved to joke. Andre McNell, 53, who was picking up a cake for his son's 3rd birthday. Aaron Salter, 55, a retired Buffalo police officer and the store security guard. Geraldine Talley, 62, an avid baker who brought apple cinnamon bread pudding and chocolate peanut butter pie to loved ones. Celestine Cheney, 65, a great-grandmother and cancer survivor who was picking up strawberries for shortcake. Hayward Patterson, 67, a deacon who often drove fellow church members to Tops. Catherine Massey, 72, who recently wrote a letter to the Buffalo News about gun control. Pearl Young, 77, who volunteered every Saturday at a local food pantry. Ruth Whitefield, 86, who had just left a visit with her husband in a nursing home. And in May, a day later, that was May 14th, a day later in Laguna Woods, John Cheng, 52, who is a physician who leaves behind a wife and 2 children. Really tragic. We offer our condolences to Lila Basham Castellos on the passing of her husband, Earl Castellos. We're observing Shloshim for Fern Shanklin, longtime member, and for Saul Eppelbaum, father of Marcella Lavi. Does anyone want to add a name to either Shiva Shloshim or a first year of mourning? Let me look here in the chat. Edith Tanazaki, first year. Judy Cohen passed away on the 18th. First year, Josie Crux Sands. First year, Elena Archibek Ferris. Harel Altman, first year. First year, Alan Pasternak and Myrna Pavelak. Bob Perlstein, first year. Corey Gold, first year. Pauline Geerlings, first year. Ruth Landis, Stan Walkman, and Joanne Heslin, first year. And we're observing yard sites this Shabbat for Helen Rosenberg, Daniel Friedman, Ruth Caron, Diane Nussbaum, Daniel Dion Ramirez, Amy Kurland Dorn, Betty Frankel, Joseph Goldware, Ida Kaplan, Wanda Campbell, Colonel James K. Reese, Annette Abrams, Morton Oppenheim, Sarah Wall, Sue Rosenbaum, Stanley Brown, Samuel A. Schur, Gertrude Ruth Bauman. Any other yard sites? Charles Walton, Charles K. Gailey Jr., please join us in the Mourner's Kaddish, which is page 598 and 294. And please rise as we also think of those who perished in the Holocaust and don't have anyone to say the Mourner's Kaddish for them. People on Zoom, if you want to unmute, you are welcome to do so. Yikadal v'yikadash shmei rabbah. Ve'alma divrach rehutei v'yamlich malhutei. V'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayedek hol Beit Yisrael. V'agala uv'izman kariv imru. Amen. V'hei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam l'almei amaya. V'barach v'ishtabach v'pa'ar v'romam v'naseh. V'tadar v'taleh v'talal shmei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Ta'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. V'hei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Huya aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. As together we say, Amen. Amen. Our closing song is Shalom Alechem, peace be unto you, page 142 and 24.
Join with me, please. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom. Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzechem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Good Shabbos, everyone.
We have a motzi.
And we sing the motzi. We can't have the oneg without the motzi, and that's the
That's
most
right.
important part. Ba'amotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ha'amotzi Motzi lechem min haaretz. Good Shabbos, everyone.
I have to tell you a funny story. This little kid, his parents are converting to Judaism, and he was in school. Sorry. So this little kid he's like 3 years old, right? And his parents are converting to Judaism, and they do, the motzi at home every Friday. And so when he was in school, these kids want to eat bread, and he said, no, you have to touch the bread, and then you can eat it, So he's learning. Anyway, please join us for the oneg, which is outside.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Ooh, screen.